Okay, hello and welcome everyone to the Engineers Ireland Global Engineers event. Just a reminder that we are recording today's thing, so I'm just going to ask people to turn off their videos. Um, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here with the Global Engineers event for engineers who are based in Nigeria or who are from Nigeria and in Ireland. And we're just going to talk a bit today about Engineers Ireland. And then we're going to have two super presentations by two phenomenally skilled Nigerian engineers who will be kicking off. So my name is Michal Gallagher. I work for the membership team and I'm joined by Nosa. And from this point onwards, I'll be handing over to Nosa for the presentation. So Nosa, it is over to you.
Thanks, Mia. My name is Nosa, and I work with a membership team. Look after basically new members joining Engineers Ireland, and try to guide them through in applying for the making the application membership. And also we have Dr. Olusegun Sariki, which is going to be presenting later on today. Mr. Eze Ikechukwu Ifeanyi, who is a CEng, MII CEng, is a member of Engineers Ireland and is a chartered member. Okay, so Mio, you don't mind moving to the next? Okay, so why joining Engineers Ireland? Basically, you have a certified membership, which means we review your membership, your qualification, and once your qualifications is reviewed and we are satisfied, then you'll be elected as a member of Engineers Ireland. With that, actually give you access to other networking with other engineers in Ireland. And also, if you're, let's say, interested in getting a job in the process, that also helps, and it helps with your continuous professional development. You have to record at least 35 hours yearly of CPDs. And with the CPDs also, we have some free CPDs, which is available to our members. And if you're a member with the paid CPDs, you get reduced rates. I believe you get a discount in the process. Networking with other engineers in Ireland, and not just engineers in Ireland, you might be networking with other engineers, maybe in UK, in America, let's just say globally, for example. And you can share ideas with other engineers and follow what the up-to-date information in the engineering world, you could say. So, and also we have the engineering journals, and the TV. With the engineering journals, we send you out, you could say, reports weekly or monthly about any engineering news that is available to yourself, and also any engineering news that might be suitable to your skill set. With the career progression side of it is, let's say you're interested in getting a new job in the future, or maybe moving out to a different company. So we are actually affiliated with some companies in Ireland. So I can mention one of our biggest members are ESB. We have ESB, we have DBFL, we have Arab, and the list goes on. Basically, once you're a member with us, it's much easier for you to actually get a job in the process. Mio, you don't mind moving to the next? Okay, so once you're a member, as normally, you have minimum of 3 months to apply for your professional title. So you can either decide to apply for an engineering technician, an associate engineer, a chartered engineer, and a fellow. So fellow is the top of the engineer of the title. But it will be much advisable to apply for a chartered engineer, because if you are a chartered engineer, opportunity will come much easier for you, because most companies tend to look for members who are chartered, and it'll be much easier for you then in the process. Mia? Thanks. So with the international recognition, and obviously, like you can see, some countries that we actually have recognition with. So let's say America, we have also in UK, we have some European countries, and some South Africa also, but we do not have a mutual recognition with Nigeria, but that doesn't have to discourage you for not becoming a member. You can still become a member. The reason why we have mutual recognition, let's just say, for example, you make an application and your application is successful, and then you apply for a chartered in the future and you're a chartered engineer. So with that chartered engineer, with that title, you can use it in another country. It's just like a passport. You could say something like a passport. So you can transfer your charteredship over to maybe a country like America. If you're moving to America, you can automatically just transfer that title over to America and you become a chartered engineer in America. Yep. So with Engineers Island, so you have your working-based learning. So we have presentations. We have professional bodies, which I previously mentioned, with a technician, associate engineer, chartered, and fellow. And also we assist with the self-directed learning, which is the CPDs. So because of the pandemic now, everything is done remotely. So you can also have access, take advantage of the free CPD programs if you feel like it. We have mentoring and coaching. So let's just say, for example, you're applying for your chartered. We have members who can actually mentor you, who can coach you through your application, because you're applying for a charter, like basically doing your thesis. Then we have courses and seminars, and also we have the engineering journal and the TV, which basically you can also record that as your CPD program. And we also have further education, such as your bachelor's, master's, or PhD. And just to remind you, if you're doing your PhD, and let's say your PhD is full-time and you're working part-time, we can also assist you when it comes to subscription fees. Yep. Yeah, okay. So this is how it looks when you have your membership dashboard on the website. So you see your CPDs. Like me, I was meant to record 5 hours anyway, but let's forget about that. So normally you record each hours. It could be, you could have a seminar for 1 hour, just record it 1 hour. So by the beginning of each year, which is January, the 31st of January, that is when you submit your CPDs. And it's very, very important to record a vast amount of CPDs in the future, because that will also help you and assist you when applying for your professional title as a chartered engineer in the future. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the free CPDs program, which is available, but this is just the few we have now. But you can go on our website if you're already a member or you're still thinking of becoming a member. You can go on the CPD and search for the free CPDs that is available to yourself, and just have a look at it. If it's something that you've been interested in, you can, it'll take at least 1 hour or 45 minutes. Just go through it, and then you can record it, and that's your CPD recorded. Okay, so we do have regions, we do have divisions, and we do have societies. So each region is depending on where you're actually based in Ireland, or maybe outside Ireland, or in Australia or America, for example. So the regions basically look after the engineers in that sector and provide you with up-to-date news on that region. And the engineering division is, for example, if you're a civil engineer, you'll be interested in the civil division. If you're a biomedical engineer, you'll be interested in biomedical division. So we send you our journals information. And also sometimes we do send information relating to any job activities around this area. The societies, so we normally do get members who are interested in joining societies. And before the pandemic, we do have like an event, like a ball, focusing on each societies. Yeah. Okay, so this is a STEP program we offer for the newer generations of engineers. So let's say you relocate to Ireland, and this is a way for you to actually contribute. For example, you can go to schools around your area to present to the kids, to the future generation about engineering. And that's also a way to have a look, let's say if you have kids, that's also a way to look at the schools and look and see if the school is suitable to your case. Yeah. Okay, so we are regarding about the journals, we do have journals available to yourself. Mia, if you don't mind moving to the next page. So we have, this is our engineering TV. With this TV, basically inform you, provide you with engineering topics. With this topic, you can also put that through as your CPDs. You can, it's basically on YouTube. You can watch it whenever you want to, and whenever you can stop anytime and continue whenever you're ready to watch it. So these are the, when I was previously discussing about jobs, this is similar, this is our job desk. So you can actually have a look at any sectors, any jobs available, any companies that's actually looking to recruit engineers. So you can actually take advantage of this. Just have a look at it whenever you're okay. With this, basically, is that once you are a member of Engineers Island, just to let you know, it's much easier for you to actually get a job because we've already vetted you and we've already vouched for you that you're a member of Engineers Island. And it's very important to actually put your MII number and your membership, your name and your membership number on the CV so that a future recruiter can actually give us a call. Sometimes I do get some few calls, giving me a call and just to confirm if this applicant is a member of Engineers Island. And if they're a member, they will take my word, and you also have a proof of your certificate and your membership card. Yep. So this is the process of making your application. So first of all, just start your application. So like Nigeria is classified as a non-EU route to membership. That means basically we will need, you need to fill out your information, the basic application steps. Then we will need your transcripts, which is your exam results. So sometimes some engineering program in Nigeria is always about maybe 4 years program. So we will need a full transcripts from year 1 to year 4. We need a verified copy. So the copies either needs to be signed by a member of Engineers Island, if you know anyone, or it could be signed by public notary. It could be signed by the Irish consulates. Or another way is we can send you out a verification qualification form, which you need to send to your college or university to stamp it. Then you just attach that to your to your transcript then. Then we'll also need your employer details, and also the payment for overseas fee is €215 if you're living outside Ireland. But if you're living in Ireland, it's €280, and it's a yearly subscription fee. So we can, we just need a verified copy of your qualification. You just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Scan it and email it to us, or you can upload it on your membership dashboard, application dashboard online. But if you have any difficulties verifying your qualifications, just contact us. We can send you out a verification qualification form, which you just need to fill out the first part, and the second part needs to be filled out by your college or university. Okay, so I'll pass it on to Dr. Olusegun Sariki, and he basically will explain everything about in being an engineer in Ireland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nosa. That was super. And yeah, we're so excited now to hear from Dr. Olusegun Sariki, who's a strategic research proposal coordinator at the Technological University of Dublin. He works in research management for Ireland's first and largest technological university. And prior to taking on this role, he's worked in the industry as an engineer across construction, manufacturing and consulting organizations within Africa, Asia and Europe. He's currently a member of Engineers Ireland, and he's working towards his chartership. Sariki, if you're there, it'd be great to see you and for you to take over from now.
Thanks, Mihal. Thanks, Nosa. That was a great presentation. So my name is Olusegun Sariki. So basically, my background, I had most of my education in Nigeria. I had my basically my level 6 program in Nigeria. And then I did a level 8 program, which is a bachelor's degree in engineering, in civil engineering at the Federal University of Technology, Akure. So that's that. So after I finished in 2011, I worked for a while in Nigeria in first of all in telecoms, and then I moved from telecoms. I moved into civil construction. I worked with ENL Constructions Limited. We had a branch in Abuja and also in Lagos. So I was with them as a project engineer up until 2013, after which I left for China. And so in 2013, I was in China. I had my master's degree. And after I finished, I moved to Shanghai from Beijing. I moved to Shanghai to work for another 6 months. I worked with a company, a manufacturing company called Sika. They produce construction chemicals and all of that. So I was with them for 6 months. And after I finished with them, I moved back to Nigeria to help them establish their first branch in Nigeria. So I moved back to them with in Lagos. So I went back to Lagos in 2015, worked with them for a while before I came to Ireland in 2015 for my PhD, and while also I was teaching at the university. So that's been me. And after I finished my PhD, I moved into a role. My journey has been unique in the sense of, and that's one of the reasons why I decided that I was going to share my journey with you. I didn't come through the standard route where you have my qualification, of course, they were easily recognized by Engineers Ireland. All I had to do was just to get my copies of my results to MIHAL. And even though I didn't have the PhD then, all I needed for membership was just proof that I met the criteria, which is having a bachelor's degree and also a master's degree, so which I was able to submit then. And I have been able to become a member. I am an MIEI at the moment. And with this webinar, it kind of gives me a wake-up call to start to kind of finish up my journey to chartership. So hopefully after this webinar, I will be gingered to kind of finish up that. So, but one of the reasons why I said my journey is unique is because when I finished my PhD, I started out as a research engineer. So I was working in the civil engineering department in TU Dublin. I worked there as a civil engineer in the concrete lab. I was working on research projects, majorly testing of materials and all of that across different kind of projects. Could be steel, could be concrete, could be new materials, novel materials being developed, and all of that. So, but one of the key things I noticed then was that my membership of Engineers Ireland actually got me through the door easily. It got me through the door easily at my interview. I remember during my interview, there was 5 of us at the interview, but I backed the role in the long term. And it was majorly because I was already a member of Engineers Ireland. I started as a student member, and after my studies, I moved to a graduate member, which as a member of standard member of Engineers Ireland. So, and one of the key benefits, as I said, it opened the door to a number of opportunities. Ever since I've become a member of Engineers Ireland, of course, now some time ago I got an offer in Singapore and all the rest of them. And even though I wasn't chartered, the fact that I'm a member of Engineers Ireland was enough for the company to make an offer. But I decided, due to personal reasons, not to make the move back to Asia. So that's one of the key benefits. That's access to opportunities, access. And if you're in Nigeria, of course, your qualifications, if you have a standard degree, a bachelor's of engineering or a BSc in engineering, your degree are recognized here. So if you're thinking of making the move, there are 2 routes, of course. There's a standard route, which is the critical skills visa. And in Ireland, I would say to you, there are a lot of engineers. I know my friend from India also got that visa recently. It's called a critical skills visa. So if you have an engineering degree and you're a member of Engineers Ireland, that's one of the benefits that this kind of membership does for you. It kind of gives you backing, and kind of you have that backing behind you that kind of validates your expertise aside from your degree, because there's a community of practice that kind of evaluates what you do, and they kind of put their stamp of approval. So if you have an MIEI number, if you have a membership number, if you're a member of Engineers Ireland, then definitely the client or the company knows that they can trust you, essentially. Another key thing that being a member of Engineers Ireland has done for me is networking. I am a research engineer. I still work in research at the moment, but now I'm a research manager, but I still have my own personal research that I do. And that's one of the key things that being a member of Engineers Island did for me. I remember during my PhD, I just only, because due to GDPR, I couldn't approach Engineers Island to kind of give me access to Engineers in Ireland. So, but because I knew one of the members, I got across to him and he was able to refer me to other of his colleagues and said, oh, I have colleagues that I know in Engineers Island that I can refer you to. So he referred me to one person, another person referred me to one person. And from there, I was able to network. And that's one of the key things that you would get as being a member of Engineers Island, that networking, that peer-to-peer networking. It's always very important. So I say that that's another benefit, key benefit that you would get being a member. And again, I move on to another point, is the global recognition of the chartered status of Engineers Island. I remember some months ago, my friend in Canada contacted me and asked that in Canada, he was looking to become chartered. And they asked that he get someone to recommend him. Even if the person has a chartered engineer status from Ireland, that qualification is recognized in Canada. So that's to tell you how wide. I know a number of Nigerian friends who want to migrate to Canada. Having this chartered engineer status might be your key to getting your dream job, where in Canada or in the US or in the Middle East or whatever it is that you want to get to. I don't have the chartership myself, but I'm working towards it. And I encourage you, if you're an engineer, it's kind of just, it's not something that kind of checks your qualification. No, it's actually just putting a seal of approval and putting that community, that you have a wide community of practice behind you for that. And another thing that I would say is that I remember during my PhD, I actually wanted to publish in the engineering journal. So if you have, for example, while I was in Nigeria, I worked on some novel materials. There were some new materials we were developing in the company I was in Sika, and some of those materials, we never got a chance to actually publish them. So, but in the engineering journal, that's an opportunity for you to kind of, it's peer reviewed, of course, but it's not something that, it's not as onerous as your standard, big engineering journals where it will take months, 6 months before you can get published. So if you have ideas, if you are doing something innovative in your workplace, the Engineers Journal is one of the places you want your work to be, because it is recognized. It is a lot of peers in the industry read it and all of that. So if you want to get your work out there, if you're doing something important, something new, something novel, and you want to get across to the engineering community, I'd say the Engineering Journal is one of the benefits, having access to that. I read the Engineering Journal, and hopefully I will be a contributor to it as soon as I have the time to do that. So that's another key benefit that you will get from that. So I know a lot more of you are wondering, okay, how do I make this move if I am looking to move to Ireland as an engineer? I would say number one, becoming a member of Engineers Island is number one. And from a research perspective, I am on a visa called the Researcher Hosting Agreement visa. It is completely different from the Critical Skills visa. So the Researcher Hosting Agreement visa, you can Google it, you can look for information on it. So that visa is specifically for engineers in research. So you might be an engineer in this webinar and you're thinking, well, I have a PhD already. How do I navigate that? I have been away from practice for a while. I've been mainly in research. That might be another route that you might use to get into the system, which is going via the researcher route. So there's a research route actually that you can use. I know one of my colleagues just recently bagged his chartership, and he's an academic like myself. So he's in the research space, and so it's not constrained to people only who are in the field, who are working for consulting companies, but also if you're in research, because I know Nigerians, we study a lot. A lot of us have PhDs, we have masters, and all of that. We have several degrees. I have 4 myself, so I know a lot of us have so many degrees, and we're wondering, how do I navigate this? So that's an opportunity for you. You can actually take that route. But as I said, the membership of Engineers Island is critical to you getting in that space. So because it validates your expertise, as it were. So so that's basically my journey from Nigeria to China, now in Ireland at the moment. So this is where I am, and I'll be happy to take any questions if maybe now or later on. So, but that's my journey essentially. I'm here, and I have to say I'm here with my wife and my daughter. I have a daughter now. So, yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
That was incredible presentation, and
Thank
congratulations again on your growing family.
Thank you very much.
To say you truly have had a global career, and all you need to do now is jobs in North America and South America, and every continent.
The equation is complete.
which is truly fantastic. So we'll do questions and answers at the end, and I'm going to get the next presentation up and running.
No problem.
And I would like to invite our next speaker, but thanks again, Sariki. That was fantastic. I look forward to detailed questions and answers. So just while I'm loading this up, please bear with me. With Engineers Ireland and a registered engineer with the Council of Regulation of Engineers in Nigeria. He has over the years worked for some of the top ranked multinational engineering companies and exploration and production companies in the energy sector in various capacities in engineering, project management, construction, asset integrity management, etc. And he's also a professional title interviewer with Engineers Ireland. So I'm delighted to hand it over to you now.
I'm glad we're having this discussion with fellow Nigerian engineers, and like Michael rightly mentioned, I'm already chartered. I had to pass through some of the processes that have already been mentioned by others, Nosa and Sariki, before I got chartered. And I'm glad I got my chartership through Engineers Ireland. There's been a lot of benefits to getting it. I've been asked why on several occasions. You can go to the next slide. I've been asked by some people, why did I get chartered? And I'm happy Sariki and Nosa have already highlighted some of the reasons. For me, the environment I work in here in Nigeria, I work for a multinational company. All my career I've been working for multinational companies who have people from all over the world, all over Asia, North America, South America, Africa, everywhere, South Africa, everywhere we have people working for me. And I get exposed to a lot of diversity. And of course, diversity has a lot of benefits. It comes with a lot of ideas and new perspectives. The way you look at things and all that get to change when you work with people from various backgrounds. So it encouraged me also to look beyond my regular environment here in Nigeria. And my employer also, because it's a multinational company, owned, American owned though, they encourage you to have, to be registered. Hopefully you should have one local registration in Nigeria and one international. It boosts your profile within the company. Also, you're able to command more respect, and they know you actually been reviewed by your peers, either locally or internationally. So they encourage you to go ahead and get certified by professional bodies. So, and Engineers Ireland, of course, the qualification they give you as a chartered engineer opens doors for you internationally. They have a lot of international agreements with so many other professional bodies around the world that it makes it easy for you to get registered wherever you find yourself. Like where I work, if you are, or any of the companies I've also worked in the past, most of which are multinationals, if you go on cross-posting to anywhere they have operation, it's easy for you to get registered within that environment. Once they realize that you have engineers, you are chartered with Engineers Ireland, it makes your movement on cross-posting easy and makes it easy for you to practice and work for them, regardless of the location they send you to. Of course, it's regarded as, being chartered is regarded as a gold standard. I mean, it means your peers have reviewed your experience, your qualification has been reviewed, and you've been found worthy to be chartered. And another reason which I know been discussed, there's a lot of CPD opportunities. You of course, as an engineer, you need to keep yourself updated, or else you become a dinosaur, you become extinct. So you need to be up to date all the time, and there's a lot of CPDs available through Engineers Island, and I've been enjoying a lot of them. And with the COVID situation also, it makes it easy for you to, most things are now virtual, so it makes it easy for you to connect virtually to most of the offer CPD. And of course, there are networking opportunities. You get to meet other engineers who are in Ireland or who are even outside Ireland, who are registered with Engineers Ireland. You can run into them while working. Like some of us, being a multinational, working for a multinational, we have offices all over. Talk to somebody, and while discussing something, probably I find out he's even registered with Engineers Ireland or some other professional body. It makes it somehow makes my job and the person's job easy. Creates a kind of quick a relationship that kind of goes beyond just the work you are doing. There's been a lot of benefits. I have no regrets being chartered with Engineers Ireland, and I would like to encourage everybody to do that. Next slide, please. So if you can go to the next page. Yeah, the next. So how do you get chartered? I know there's been a discussion around the membership and all that. Of course, you have to be a member of Engineers Ireland before you can become chartered. It's actually similar to what we have, a bit similar to what we have here. Those of you who are in Nigeria know we have Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE. If you pass to NSE, you get your NSE membership. You have to do the exams, make sure you meet the minimum qualification, have the experience, do the exams, do the interviews before you can, move to get your current registration with the council. It's a bit similar, you hear, but Engineers Ireland does everything. While over here in Nigeria, NSC gives you the membership, while current gives you the registration that makes you a registered engineer. So, and there's also some similarities on the titles. We have current gives you can be an engineering technician or a registered professional engineer, which is equivalent to the chartered engineer in Ireland. And of course, they have a fellow. There are other ones. You have engineering technologies and all that current also offers based on your qualification and experience. Now, if you are going to get chartered here, in Ireland, there is no MRA, mutual recognition, unfortunately, between the NSC and current. If there was an MRA between NSC and current, it would have made it easy for you, if you are current registered, to get registered in Ireland without going through the process of application and interview and all that. With the MRA, it would have been easier, but unfortunately, Nigeria is not covered, so you have to go through any of the routes which they have. So, and of course, for you to do that, you need to get familiar with some documents that are online. Most of the information are online. If you go to Engineers Ireland website, you look for the regulations and guidance notes. They are there, and they are very easy to browse through. You can go through those documents. You can get a lot of information and guidance from there that can actually help you make your application easy. If you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, here it's showing just an overview of the process you have to go through to get chartered. You, of course, they have what they call the standard routes. If you are covered by any of the agreements Engineers Ireland have, or you can go through the non-standard routes. I mean, for every individual, there is usually a route for you. It's just a question of you taking time out to go through the documents. You definitely find where you fit in. And of course, they have what they call the phase one and where you meet what they call the education formation. Once that is met, then you can now proceed to phase two, which of course is where you are now very close to getting the final stamp of being a chartered when you are through with your phase two. So the application, there is an application form. Once you are ready for your phase two, there is an application form. You fill it up. You put details of your career. You summarize your, because of course your experience. You need to have some minimum experience, which the document will guide you. By the time you go through it, if you go through those guidance documents, you'll be able to actually know whether you are qualified to apply for any of those titles. It give you an idea if you can actually apply for any of the titles. So you have to, on the application form now, you have to write about your career, kind of summary, do a career report, meet some key competencies, which is about 5. You have to write about them, and you have to meet the minimum CPD requirement. I think they've mentioned it is about 35 hours per annum, and you have to have about 35 hours per annum for 2 years before you apply. And there is an essay you have to write, 2 essays. You have to write 1. You usually decide what you have to write about. There is a guideline on that also. The second essay is usually, you select that from a list published by Engineers Island. Once that is done and you have your supporters, about 2 of them, and you pay the fee, then it's now sent out for assessment. And if it scales through the assessment, you'll be invited for interview, which is the final stage. Next slide, please. So the 5 key competencies which you're expected to meet are shown here: your engineering knowledge, application of your engineering knowledge, your leadership skills, your communication skills, and your ethical practice. Of course, for you to be an engineer, you need to have the basic engineering knowledge, and you need to understand how those knowledge is also being applied, and you should also be able to extend that knowledge in solving problems, because as engineers we are expected to solve problems. So we are also expected to be creative in our work. We should be able to add value using the knowledge we have. Of course, for you to be a chartered engineer, you're expected to have some leadership skills. It could be managerial, it could be you've been a technical lead, or you've led a project. It could come in any form. There is always some form of leadership in what we do as an engineer. In one way or the other, you will be exposed to some leadership role in one way or the other. Your communication skills, of course, have to be excellent and you need to demonstrate that during the interview. And also when preparing your report, you need to make sure there are no errors, no typos. Everything has to be done right, checked, and usually it's advisable you give it to somebody to do a code review. They take a look at what you've written, even if it's not even if the person is not even an engineer, you could give to somebody that is not an engineer to even look at it and see if your grammar and all that are in place, because those are some of the things that matters. And of course, when you work, communication is key. So it's still a key competence which is checked, and there's a lot of details on this on the guidance. And of course, your ethical practice. Engineers Island is quite being a member of Engineers Island, you're expected to exhibit high ethical standards in what you do. And you need to demonstrate that you've been abiding by the ethical standards as published by Engineers Island. So you need to also get familiar with the document. There's a document on ethics. You go through it, make sure you are meeting that requirement in your work and what you do. And as engineers, of course, we are expected to ensure that our jobs are done safely, that we don't do things that hurt the society in any way. We're obligated to ensure the safety of our design, the safety of the construction, whatever we deliver should be used safely without any issues. So safety, ethics, they are somehow related, but the ethics we face, varies based on your individual environment and what you face. So the application, or just same thing with the application, there may not be one box fits all for everybody. It's based on your conditions, what you have, your qualifications, your experience. You may be qualified from Nigeria, you may be qualified from outside Nigeria. Whatever you have is what will determine the route you follow. You can go to the next slide, please. So usually there are 2 submission dates. If you're applying for the chartership, you find all these details in the guideline. You have the January submission and the June submission. It usually happens twice in a year, so you need to take time to plan. When I did mine, I had to, plan out and say, okay, this is when I'm going to make my submission. And I developed a schedule. I worked with my schedule with my mentor and others. We proceeded, and I ensured I submitted on time to meet the target. So if you are planning to make a submission, it's usually good you start planning early, get familiar with these dates. For the January, of course, the last Friday in January is when you are expected to submit for the January submission. And there will be after your submission, an assessment is conducted on the application to even see if it meets the minimum requirements set out in the guidance document. If it doesn't meet those requirements, the application may be returned back to you, and you may be asked to make some changes and resubmit. There are different options. They will definitely get back to you, and if it's okay, they will still get back to you and tell you that, look, your application have met the minimum requirements, and you'll be scheduled for an interview. And for the January one, usually have March, April, May, June. That's when the interviews are usually done. For the June submission cycle, last Friday in June, of course, they do the assessments around July, August, and the interviews goes on from September to December of the year. So try to make your plans early and work to meet your targets. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, if you finally get to the interview stage, fortunately, I'm an interviewer. There are usually, the rule is you'll be interviewed by 3 chartered engineers. I can assure you it's usually a very friendly environment. So you don't really need to panic, just be confident. Make your presentation. Usually you are required to make a presentation for some minutes. You make your presentation and you take the questions, give your best answers. Don't make guesses. I usually advise people don't make guesses. Just if you don't know, you don't know. You can go back and check and make sure your report is your work. You understand the basis of what you've done, because the questions will be around what you submitted. Nobody is going to ask you questions outside what you submitted. So just feel relaxed, feel free. It's going to be it's usually a very friendly and fair interview. I can assure you it's usually fair, and you don't really need to be worried. just be confident and demonstrate that you know what you've written, and that's your experience. You just demonstrate the skills and the competencies that you've captured in your report, and you'll be fine. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you have any questions, any concerns, you can ask.
Yeah, so what I might do is I'm going to formally thank all our incredible speakers today, and I'm going to knock off the recording just so that we can speak in kind of more informal sense. But yeah, that was an incredible panel today. Thank you so much for everyone who contributed, and this was a fantastic global engineers event for Nigerian engineers. So the recording is now